Hey everyone, welcome to Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. This podcast is all about farmers markets. Whether you're a farmers market manager or a small farmer, food maker, or artisan crafter selling at farmers markets, you have found just the right podcast.
I'm Kat Fields-White.
And I'm Bridget Myers. We're longtime farmers market managers, educators, and consultants. During this month of Recruit and Retain episodes, today we're talking about how to find new shoppers for your farmers market and keep the ones you have.
Today's episode of Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast, is supported by Manage My Market, an online platform assisting markets in more than 30 states with vendor registration, stall assignments, and interactive map creation, invoicing, permit tracking, and more. For more information on how to consolidate all your market management tasks in one place and a free demo, click the Manage My Market logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com.
All right, welcome back to Tent Talk, everyone.
I'm here. A little stressed.
Are you?
Not really that much stressed, actually. I'm in one of those situations where everything seems very smooth and going very well. And so I'm afraid that maybe I'm just out of touch with reality.
Just forgetting
the
something.
The conference starts in 2 weeks.
Just so calm. Like sometimes in the afternoon and I'm just chugging along at work, so calm, not a care in the world. And then I go, I had to pick up my kids at school. So one of those kind of feelings.
I mean, at least we're remembering the conference starts in 2 weeks.
There you go.
Right?
It'll be
We're
happening
on top of it.
No matter what. So yeah, we're very excited. We can't wait to see all your happy faces in person, online. Be
So
a big
exciting.
party. Yeah, so exciting.
Yeah. Registration is still open this week, though we're pretty close to sellout for in-person attendance. And if you don't register by tomorrow, you're not going to have that chef's kiss of a name tag with your name printed on it. You'll have a sticker on your name tag.
I'm going to write your name in Sharpie, okay? So
Yeah, register quick so you can have the pretty name tag. And just to be sure that we don't sell out, it's actually looking pretty good. So register today. For you who just haven't been able to figure out how to get away to San Diego, I'm so sorry. But there's still time to sign up for Listen and Learn to get access to the live stream. And with that, you get recordings of most of the sessions after the conference. People who aren't there in person also get those same recordings. It won't be all of the sessions this year. We got a fair amount of breakouts and workshops, and those are not recorded, except for the ones that are centered around the main stage. But you get a lot of the sessions. You'll still have 14, 15 hours of content that you'll get in recordings. What you will miss is attending in person does get you that extra information that you get from the folks sitting next to you at those workshops.
that's right.
Yeah. And it's so fun to see registrations roll in and recognize the names of past attendees. That's been so fun the last couple of months watching that happen. It's going to be old home week.
Yeah, I think we've done this enough years in a row now that it just feels super familiar. And it's, like that summer camp we just keep coming back to. So
Time
excited
for
to
the family
see.
reunion.
It's a family reunion. Yeah, we're excited to see folks that we know and meet new people.
That's right.
Yep. So talking about people who keep coming back, today in the last of our recruiting and retaining series, we're talking about adding new shoppers to your market and cementing relationships with the ones you have to keep them coming back. As Corinna Smith pointed out in our episode on recruiting and retaining farmers, the most basic, effective way to keep your farmers and vendors coming back is to promote your market and generate foot traffic and sales. That's why we're not saying recruit attendees, we're saying bring and keep more shoppers.
Shoppers is the key, right?
Yes.
I mean, we want to talk about all the ways that you can attract shoppers. And by in all the ways, we're talking about using all the different methods of getting the word out. Doesn't mean promoting it as a carnival. You want to promote it as a store so the folks who come out buy from your farmers and vendors. I mean, that's the goal.
Exactly. Yes. I think I just had this situation. I took a picture of my market and the aisles were like a little bit more empty than usual. And I was like, I like a big crowd shot at the market. But what I noticed when I looked at it again is that all of the vendors' booths, there was people right up against their booths. So they were all engaging with the vendors. They were buying things. They weren't just strolling, enjoying the nice day down the middle of the market, not talking to the vendors. So that's what to keep in mind. You don't need the biggest crowd at your market. You need the most shoppers at your market that are there to purchase things.
Yep. And I think the way you position yourself really controls whether people come to shop or just enjoy the music and take selfies. And what do we used to say? Selfie snapping samplers.
Those selfie snapping samplers. If they buy stuff,
That's fine.
They are also
That's fine.
shoppers, another S word. But yes, it's those folks who just come to use your market as a background for their photos, and they're standing in the way of people who are trying to buy things from farmers and vendors. So it's a balance of, figuring out how to get those folks that are going to come and actually make purchases.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's welcome, but you need those buyers there to keep those farmers and vendors there.
Exactly. They're not props.
You did a good job just recently, right? You had a blogger, influencer dude who asked you to fact check his post before he posted it, right?
Yes. First of all, I love that he did that. I think he was just asking me. He did a little article. He's some kind of influencer, and he has a website, and he did an article about farmers markets in San Diego, and he listed all the markets and their days and times and location. And so he sent it out, seemed like to everybody, but mine was like addressed specifically to me. So I think he found everyone's information. He said, hey, can you just make sure your market information is correct? So I read the whole thing, and our information was correct. And I know that some other markets in town, it looked good. So I told him that. But then he had some like tips for shopping at farmers markets at the bottom where he wrote some information about it. And some of it was like, farmers markets are a sampling smorgasbord. So come hungry and eat all the samples, which I think people think that that's like what we want. Like we want people to come sample, So he had that. And then he had like how to be a vendor, call the ag department so you can get your farm certified. And so he just wasn't really quite understanding like the nuances of it. So I just kind of copied and pasted the article part and just put a couple of notes in there. Go, hey, I read the rest of your article and I just have a couple of notes if you're interested. So I kind of rewrote the sampling part and I said, hey, there's a cost to all of those samples. Every piece of fruit, every, little beef jerky sample that you're taking, that is a cost to that small business. They had to pay for making that sample. So the good thing about farmers markets is that you get to talk to the person that made the food. You get to sample it. It's like a great way to pick out the food that you like the best. It's like a perk of the farmers market, but avoiding saying it's a sampling smorgasbord or it's a buffet or it's like a Costco situation, and understanding that these are small businesses. So come sample with intention and, intent to buy.
Yeah.
And he wrote back and he said he changed his whole article online. He put all those notes in there. I told him some more information about how to become a vendor, so he could include that for other folks. And he was just so grateful. He goes, I learned something. Thank you so much for doing that. So
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So positioning your market as a place to come sample so that you can decide which flavor to buy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is a perk of the market, is that at the grocery store, you don't get to sample all the jams before you buy one. So that is the perk of the farmer's market. But when folks come, they come to eat samples only. If like you're hungry, then buy something from a hot food vendor. You know? So there's a difference. So yeah, I think educating is a really good way to spend your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that email came in like in the middle of like Friday afternoon when I'm prepping, but I just felt like it was a good use of my time to really respond to him because he definitely had a far reach with that article. So
yeah, and it's great that there are people that want to do that. They want to come out to the market and they're enthusiastic and they post on it. There's others that approach you. We get a lot of influencer offers to partner with them or pay them or what have you to talk about the market and get out there. And sometimes they've got a really big reach. Again, we don't know if their audience is large but unengaged. You have to watch for that. But you also want to look at whether their audience is engaging just about fashion or interior design versus maybe cooking or buying food.
Yeah.
So the right kind of influencer can be really helpful. But don't spend your time appealing to people that just kind of want to come out and walk.
Use it as a backdrop.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your market mission? What kind of shoppers are you looking to attract to the market? What do you want them to buy when they're there? And kind of keep that in mind when you're talking about doing these marketing things. I like really hyper local foodie influencers. We don't ever pay for influencer partnerships, but sometimes folks will say, hey, can I come out and like ask you a couple questions or do you mind if I reshare your photo or things like that? So I think that that's great because their audience is local, so that the local people are going to come out. If you're dealing with an influencer that's more like national, they might have followers on the opposite coast from where your market is. Those aren't going to turn into market shoppers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So kind of keeping in mind, how do you get those people that are in your neighborhood or close by your neighborhood to come purchase from your vendors and farmers?
Yep. Numbers of attendees going up is great, but way more important is the number of buyers.
Yep.
And in that same theme, you want to gauge your own social media success on how engaged your followers are rather than just by the sheer number of followers that you get.
Yeah, exactly. I think what we've really tried to focus on with our social media is posting things like, my social media manager is amazing and she posts like really great reels that get a really far reach and get a lot of engagement and they're just kind of funny. They are very hyper market focused about our farmers market or local food, but I think they get shared all over the place because They're
she
funny.
gets like 1 million
Yes.
views sometimes, right?
Yeah, that one. I mean, one of them got 2 million views. SZA liked it. We all screenshotted that and commented on it. But it's like, that was really fun. And that helped our engagement kind of have a boom. But is SZA coming to the market and buying lettuce?
That would be fun.
I would love it. I would love that. But, thinking about that, yes, those things are fun, but also always come back to those posts that are like, hey, this Wednesday, Heritage Farm is going to have a brand new crop of strawberries. Come get them. They're going to be sweet and juicy. Like, this is, buy a box and take it home for
Right.
school lunches. Like, you want to make sure that you're appealing to shoppers that are going to come purchase at your market.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So what about social media? It's a little bit messy right now.
It's a little messy.
You kind of got to decide where you're going to stay. I mean, there's even almost like a real ethical, moral thing about which platforms you're going to stay with and how do you want to engage with them. And right so far, you probably don't want to abandon most of the big traditional guys. I mean, Instagram's still a thing. Still a lot of people on Instagram. Still gets a lot of response. But I would say with all the changes that keep happening and how they're adjusting algorithms and who's visible to whom and all that, you don't want to put all your eggs in that basket, to use a little chicken and eggs kind of farmer's market expression.
Love our puns.
Yep. So you want to look at other social media platforms and private groups too, not just on Facebook, but look at School and look at Substack and look at Reddit. So kind of getting out into some other maybe less manipulated social media groups, I think could be a good direction to be keeping an eye on right now.
Yeah, it's hard to just spread further and further, like spread ourselves more thin on all these different things that we need to do. But yeah, I would say look at your particular market. I like Instagram because when I see the videos that we're tagged in on Instagram, folks, those are our shoppers and they are posting videos of their farmers market haul and they're posting videos of themselves carrying bags of produce at my market or enjoying an empanada or, like they are purchasing things. And so I know for sure that my shoppers, some of them live on Instagram. So that's kind of where we're engaging. But things could change and things are changing. So kind of find an avenue that you think your shoppers are engaging with, and then you can also engage there.
Yeah, keep looking at new things. I do think our Insta local engagement is super good at all of our markets.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that with other markets as well. So
Mhm.
I would still encourage your vendors and farmers to be posting there and tagging the market back.
Mhm.
You get that whole exponential thing when you're tagging each other. And I love reposting our shopper stories in our stories if they tag us.
Yeah. To show that the shoppers really are engaging with us as well on there.
Super helpful. Pick a couple that you can keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody can keep up with all of them.
Yeah, exactly. I use Facebook mostly as like a static website page. Really, we don't get a ton of engagement on Facebook, but I think when you Google the market, the Facebook page pops up. All of our Instagram posts auto feed there. I can post like events and links and things there. And we have a lot of followers because when Facebook was a lot stronger of a platform for businesses, which I don't think it is so much anymore, we did get a lot of followers. So I think people see that or they can go look if they want some information.
Yeah, that happens even with Farmers Market Pros. Our static feed gets okay engagement. But what's good about Facebook for us, and I'm just hoping that this doesn't get messed up in the next iteration of Facebook, but what has been really effective for us is a private Facebook group.
Yes.
And I know some markets that have groups for either their vendors or for, friends of the market. And that gets a lot of traction.
Yeah. So that's a good thing to use those kind of platforms for. Maybe just using them for one specific reason. You don't have to engage elsewhere and you don't have to stay on and look at other things while you're there.
Right.
Just go in and do your business and bounce out.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah.
I also think, though, that this is the time to double down on your email newsletters.
Definitely.
I mean, they're so effective. We always like to say, you want to do your email newsletter because when you're on social media, you're building your house on somebody else's land. I have realized in the last couple of years with newsletters that however you're sending it out, you're still on somebody else's land. Or at least, I don't know, you've got an easement maybe, but
you're in somebody else's marketing sub inbox that they don't look at. So,
right, because Google and the various delivery systems have really, they make their own adjustments to what gets delivered and what doesn't. And if it goes into the social or promotional tab and people don't see it, or if it's marked as spam inadvertently or whatever. And then the big email platforms look at how many got opened and then they downgrade the reach that they give your emails. It's not as under our control as we think. but it's still more under our control than the big algorithms and the social media platforms, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And you can see how many people are opening it at least, where on social, I mean, I guess you can see views, but that can mean a lot of different things. So, I mean, I think consistency counts for a lot. We still send an email before every market, 16 years strong, and we have thousands of people that open I send 2 email newsletters every week, and thousands of people open and click on the links and things inside our email newsletter every single newsletter. So
Every week, this many years
twice
in.
a week, yeah.
Yeah. I see people that say, oh, well, our market's been open for 10 years. Everybody knows we're here. We don't need to do that kind of marketing anymore. Incorrect.
Incorrect. And people move away and they come back, but they stay on your newsletter list. So that's a good way to just like keep in touch with them. So yeah, I have found that that's a really great way to, make your shopper feel like they're getting a little personal message from you, because social media can kind of feel like not very personal.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole key, is to make them feel like they're part of your family.
Yep.
Actually, Erica Tebbins, who's a marketing consultant, is going to be at the Intense conference to chat about which platforms are working best right now, because MailChimp versus Flowdesk versus MailerLite, or there's Kit now that used to be ConvertKit. So there's a lot of different platforms for email, and each of those has different deliverability rates. And so she's going to help us figure out which ones are easier for us to use, so you can kind of judge on how much help do you need with graphics and that kind of thing, and which ones are working best right now, and then how to build a good list and why. Because again, with email newsletter lists, it's not the number of people on your list that matters as much as how many engaged subscribers you have. It doesn't help you to pay your email platform to carry 6,000 subscribers forward that have all moved away and aren't opening your emails anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So making sure that those are folks, again, talking about retaining shoppers that are going to come shop at your market. Yes, you want to inform people about your market, and it's a nice read for them, but who's actually coming out to the market? Yeah. So we've talked about analog, community-based marketing, and that's more important than ever right now. Sponsorships, partnerships with orgs that share your mission and share customers, fitness studios, cooking classes, community centers. So partnering with other groups that are really community minded and really reaching people that are going to come out and do things.
Yeah, super local.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think don't you sponsor one of your kids' Little League teams?
Yep. Always a Little League team, always like their jogathon. I mean, these are the people that are shopping for groceries in our neighborhood or neighborhood adjacent. So yeah, those are the sponsorships, and those are just like close to my heart just because I have younger kids, but you can find, other groups, Lions Club things, or, rec center sports or things like that. There's lots of places where you can get a really direct, hyper-local, hyper-community sponsorship partnership relationship.
Yeah, and you look at things like yoga studios that maybe will have a punch card, and after every 10 yoga classes, they get a market money certificate to bring to the market. So there's all kinds of ways that you can encourage each other's businesses in a hyper-local way.
Exactly, and actually bring people in the door, because those folks are going to a yoga class and they are going to go to your market. So
I think it feels kind of counterintuitive, although I like to believe that we've helped it to get less so.
Mm-hmm.
But think about doing co-op ads with other farmers markets. I feel like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was first getting into managing farmers markets, it felt very competitive. People felt very protective of their market customers, and they didn't want to share them with another farmers market. I think by now we've all realized that it's great to share it with another farmers market. What you want to do is keep those folks out of those big box stores. So we need to work together to make people realize that going to farmers markets is a legit way to get your groceries every week.
Exactly. Yes, I think, and if you can come together with your market managers in your neighborhood. I know I talk to my peeps at the other markets, and market managers talk a lot more now than I did before to other market managers. We don't see each other as competition. We help each other with like regulations and agencies and things. Sometimes we talk about vendors, but not really. And I think at this point, there's enough like vendors to go around where we aren't so worried about there's like a scarcity with vendors, or we don't want them to leave our market and go to a different one. Same with shoppers. I think the pool of regular farmers market shoppers that were doing their grocery shopping at farmers markets, that was a lot less years ago. And now that's just grown, and people are really, especially, I feel like COVID had a lot to do with that too. It really trained people to shop from their local food source. And so there's so many more shoppers that we can all, encourage to shop multiple times a week.
Right, for sure. Or, I mean, one of the big objections people have to farmers markets is the lack of convenience because you're only open those for 6 hours a week.
Hmm.
If you're working as a group to convince people that this is the first place to go to get groceries, okay, if you miss the Saturday market, go to our buddy's Sunday market. If you run out of something in the middle of the week, go to our friend's Wednesday market and keep moving those folks around and reminding them that just because they're shopping at a farmer's market that's only there once a week, there's a variety of farmers markets fairly nearby.
Exactly. And they're not all the same, but basically you can find local farm goods, locally made food, grab a bite to eat. So I think getting together with other market managers is a good way to bring in more shoppers and kind of retaining them by training them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So speaking of big box stores,
Yeah.
they copy us.
Ugh, they're always copying us.
I'm kind of so mad about this one Canadian chain. We're going to talk about more about that on another day, labeling everything that they sell farmers market.
Oh, boy.
So anyway, what we should do, though, is we should copy them about some of the things that they do that are effective. So I think loyalty cards,
Mhm.
where people get in the habit of coming back to your market over and over because they know it's building up to something and they're just part of the club when
Yeah.
they have a loyalty card. I mean, I think you get a mental attachment that, of course, that's my market.
That's why it's called loyalty card, because they want to feel like they're loyal to you and that they're in this club and it's just them and all the small group of people that are shopping this market and getting these benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw a lot. Well, I think some of them are just getting ready to wrap up now. I saw a whole group of markets in various areas of the country using Winter Warrior cards.
Oh, yeah.
So every time you came out to shop during the winter months, mostly in cold climates, you would get a punch. And then at the end of those, you would get either a market buck or you'd get some kind of a product that some vendor donated that week, or you'd get entered for a raffle to get a market basket full of goodies. I think that's super effective.
Definitely. I think if you have, weather things that are going on or like slower parts of the year or something, if you have a new market that you're looking to pump up, doing these kind of cards and incentives is a really great way to get those shoppers to really feel good about being a part of the club that shops the market.
Another way to play off of those is to encourage vendors to create deals while you're cooperating with other markets. Get your vendors and farmers to cooperate so that when you buy a pound of tomatoes, you get half off of this bottle of sea salt. Taking turns so that nobody has to put out kind of a discounted product too often. But if you got a variety of vendors, you can sort of move that around. And so loyalty card members get access to those kind of discounts. I mean, that can be very effective.
Yeah, I think so too.
And
All right.
I think it doesn't have to be an elaborate prize either. It's the recognition that you make a big deal about so that their loyalty to your market and the importance of their support to keeping that market active and thriving, that's the motivator.
Exactly. I think when you make your shoppers feel like they are the ones keeping this market afloat, which hello, they are. When you recognize that in them, then they feel really like a sense of pride and a sense of ownership of the market. And they want to come out and help because they don't want to let you down. They don't want to let the market down. So like really work with them on that, like recognize that and acknowledge that and, develop these programs, give them thank you things, enter them into, raffles to win cool market prizes, things like that, to really recognize their effort, because it is an effort to come shop at the market. And we want to recognize that. And that'll keep your shoppers coming back every week.
That's right. This is huge, too, for Friends of the Market campaigns. So those can raise some money, while the donations that you get from that kind of program can be really valuable monetarily. They can help cover the costs of many of the things that you do at the market. Maybe even more value comes from the sense of belonging and ownership that your members get.
Yeah, definitely. I think that they feel like, again, they're in their club. And so it's a money raising for your market, but also it's helping them feel like they want to come back every week because now they're a part of this group of people that all come back every week.
It was like when we used to teach people, well, we still do these projects every once in a while, when we're helping somebody with a Kickstarter campaign or a campaign like that to grow or expand their business. Those things are valuable because of the money that they bring in, but they're just as valuable because people will then come out, they'll bring their friends, they'll come out to that restaurant or to that booth at the market and say, hey, I helped these guys get started, or I helped these guys grow. These are my buddies.
Yeah, exactly. It's like fundraisers at your kid's school. It's like it's bringing money in, but also like the kids get to feel like they're helping support these programs, the garden program or music program that you pay for. The kids get to feel like they did something to help make that happen. So keep that same mindset. It's like we use this strategy just all the time in all these different facets. So use it at your market in that same way and help people feel like they really are invested in supporting your market.
You can give them some spiffs, too. I mean, what they love, I think, about being a friend of the market is access to things that other people don't get. Everybody likes to be sort of an insider. So breakfast with the farmer every quarter, pick a different farmer and get there early in the morning. You can have coffee and scones from the baker across the street and talk to the farmer and get to know him better. Or have a baking class with a bread maker. Do an annual dinner for all of your friends of the market. And you can charge them for it, but they're the only ones that can buy tickets and come. They're feeling special.
Yep. They're feeling, that's definitely a way to get them to feel invested. And again, talking about retaining them, that's really a way for the long view to keep these shoppers coming back for a very long time and supporting your market regularly.
I've seen some markets do discount cards or like lanyards with a thing that you show that you're a friend of the market, and one different vendor each week gives them a discount. That can work.
Mm-hmm.
We all have too much stuff, so I hate to encourage swag, but face it, folks still like those water bottles and the bags with market art on them.
Definitely. And those are usable. Those are practical. That's practical swag. So, I mean, a special market bag that you can't buy, that maybe they'd buy a bag from you anyways, but they get a special one for being a member of the market. And then they get to feel really special and get recognized for that. So.
Yeah, and bonus points if you do what the folks at the Chicago Green Market do and train your team to recognize that limited edition swag when it's wandering around the market and thank the people that have it. Say, oh, you're a big market supporter. I know that bag. Thanks for being here this week.
For sure. So there's a lot of ways to recruit shoppers by connecting with your community, getting out there. We've talked in past episodes about attending community meetings and, like we just said, sponsoring Little League teams and things like that, get involved in the community. But then once those shoppers come out, I think retaining them is also really important. So giving them these loyalty cards and making them feel like they're part of the cool kids that get to shop at the market is really helpful as well. So hopefully those are some helpful tips for your market. We all know that people don't shop at farmers markets for the convenience or the ease of parking. They come because they want to know who produces their food and develop relationships. They enjoy running into their neighbors. They're delighted when a vendor remembers their order. Like the Cheers theme says, we all want to go where everybody knows our name and they're always glad we came. Do that for your shoppers and they'll come back again and again.
Thanks for listening today, and big thanks to Manage My Market for making farmers market managers' lives easier with a user-friendly online platform that makes it simple to manage vendor processes and mapping all in one place, and for supporting Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. For more information, click the Manage My Market logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com.
Please leave us a review on your podcast app or wherever you listen to Tent Talk. Let us and others know how you're enjoying the podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of Tent Talk. Connect with fellow farmers market folks in our private Facebook group, the Farmers Market Pros Community, and follow us on Instagram at Farmers Market Pros. Find online education and other resources at farmersmarketpros.com. Tent Talk is brought to you by Farmers Market Pros, where passion meets profit. Tent Talk is hosted by Kat Fields-White and Bridget Myers and produced by Leandra Hayes, with original music by David Mead. Tune in next week for another great episode.